guy right here now. That guy right here. He ain't long. Hello, mate. Another day, another practice. You see my dog World out here with me, man. Football weather right here. It's not Jaden. Jaden is the quarterback. We got Jalen Shazam.
All right, so today was the final day of training camp practice. I'm pretty sure they're going to have practice next week, but it's going to be light practices. It'll be after, obviously, 53-man roster cutdown day, but today was the last day of training camp. Supposed to be a joint practice today with the Ravens, but obviously it got canceled last week, so unfortunately we didn't have it with them, but it is what it is. We still had a fully padded practice today, and didn't have a whole bunch of play-by-play. Had some, so I'll talk about that. But I want to talk about some of the things DQ said, probably like one or two things. He gave us an update on Noah Brown, and he said he is getting close to returning to play, and the arrow is pointing up on Noah Brown. So a lot of people have forgotten that Noah Brown is not practicing. He hasn't practiced since probably early August, right? Which is not a good thing at all, because Noah Brown is going to be our receiver 3. He's going to be opposite of Terry, and he is one of our vertical threats. although he doesn't catch, a lot of deep passes. He is good at drawing pass interferences, and sometimes, like one or two times, he'll catch a pass downfield as well. So he's going to be our starting receiver outside of Terry and obviously Debo, right? So with him injured, obviously he's not at practice, and we need him out there because, after Debo, our receiver room, man, it's not looking great. We have Jalen Lane, who I'll talk about in a second, but Luke hasn't stood up. Michael Gallup hasn't stood out. KJ Osborne hasn't stood out. Haven't had a lot of guys at receiver stood out. So we're definitely going to need Noah Brown back healthy. And then DQ also talked about Jalen Lane, and he liked what he saw from Lane versus the Bengals on Monday night a couple days ago. And he liked what he saw from him on the outside specifically, and I did too. 2 of his 3 catches were him on the outside, and I was impressed with Lane. With Terry out and Noah Brown out, Lane has been getting some opportunities on the outside, and at times doesn't look great, but also he has impressed on the outside as well. I still think he's better in the slot. However, he can do some damage on the outside as well, and he showed that Monday night against the Bengals. So Jalen Lane, again, I would honestly say he's really the only guy that has stood out or stood up at the receiver position with the absences of Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown and Deebo Samuel. Obviously, Deebo has stood out as well. I mean, him and Jalen's connection has just been nonstop, right? I'll talk about that in just a second as well. But, yeah, DQ was really impressed with what he saw from Jalen Lane Monday night. His route running, his quickness, his speed. I think Jalen Lane is going to be really, really good for us this season, not only on special teams as a punt returner, but also as a receiver. Now let's get to some practice notes. So we had practice yesterday. It was a jog through, so I didn't cover it. But Jordan McGee, Brandon Coleman, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, and Marcus Mariota were all out there, which is great to hear. By the way, Marcus Mariota, he spoke to the media today in a little media scrum. He said that he was dealing with Achilles tendonitis, so that's why, he hasn't practiced since like August 1st or August 2nd. He's been out since then, right? So that's the injury he's been dealing with, but it sounds like he should be good to go by week 1. So that is great to hear about Marcus Mariota. But Jordan McGee, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, and Brandon Coleman are all trending in the right direction. Brandon Coleman was starting today in team drills 11v11 at left guard, which is awesome to hear. At right tackle, Connerly and Wiley were splitting reps, so that's interesting. Before, it was just Wiley taking all the first team reps at right tackle. But now you see Connerly and Wiley splitting reps at right tackle, so that may be a sign that Connerly, he's progressing through the battle, and he probably, or I shouldn't say probably, but he has a good shot to start at right tackle week 1, and I feel like he should because he has really impressed me with how much he's improved, and he looked really good versus the Bengals on Monday night a couple days ago. The Jaden and Deebo connection continues to look amazing. Jaden hit Deebo on a deep shot with Quan Martin and Sanders still in coverage. So it feels like Quan and Mikey are always in coverage when it comes to Jaden hitting deep shots really to anyone like Deebo or Jalen Lane, right? But, hey, man, I'm so excited to watch Deebo this season. Like, I think he's going to prove doubters wrong. Like, he fits perfectly into this scheme. And with Jaden Daniels and Cliff as his offensive coordinator, I mean, I feel like the sky's the limit for Deebo this upcoming season. And I'm so excited to watch him and Jaden, translate their training camp connection into the regular season. And they're going to hit a bunch of big plays. So super excited to watch Deebo. And then Terry McLaurin. He was seen at practice today. He was on the sidelines. Noah Brown was also out there as well. But obviously Terry, he was removed from the pup list last week. And he hasn't practiced. DQ said that he's rehabbing. It's a part of the process, rehabbing. He's done with that. Now he's working on getting conditioned. But we haven't seen him on the practice field until today. Now, he wasn't practicing, but he was on the side field. After practice, he met up with the receivers, broke the huddle there. So, does this mean a lot? Maybe it means something, but I don't think it means like a lot. Doesn't mean, talks are going anywhere or progressing with Terry's situation, the contract, right? So I just hope this deal gets done, man. Like, I just hope Terry's back on the field by game week because we need him. And honestly, part of me doesn't want to talk about the Terry situation until a contract is actually done or it gets back onto the practice field, right? Because it's become tiring, dragged out, and at some point, one side has to break. We just got to come to some sort of compromise, some sort of resolution, and hopefully that can happen soon. So Terry was seen on the field today during practice, so that is a Terry McLaurin update right there. And that's about it for the last day of Commanders 2025 training camp. All right, now I want to talk about potential landing spots for Brian Robinson Jr., and these are realistic landing spots for him, whether in a trade or a cut scenario, but specifically trade, right? Now, Ricky Scoops on Twitter, I feel like a lot of you guys know him. Y'all, not all of y'all may know him, but he's a guy who has gotten a lot of stuff right with NFL, trades, extensions, stuff like that. He's gotten a lot of extensions right this offseason. So He has some misses, however, he is right a lot of times. So today he reported that the Dolphins are the front runners to trade for Commanders running back Brian Robinson Jr. Today, Jalen Wright, running back for the Dolphins, drafted him last year out of Tennessee. He was injured today and he limped off the field. He needed help, and the limp did not seem great. It was a bad limp. And Devon Achane, right now he's dealing with a calf injury, and Alexander Madison, he is on season-ending IR, suffered an ankle injury, I'm pretty sure, during their first preseason game. So he's injured, right? So their only healthy guy right now is Ollie Gordon. So they are dealing with some injuries at running back. So Brian Robinson Jr. may be a guy they trade for. Now, they have Ollie Gordon, who I feel like is kind of like B-Rob. Like, both their playing styles are similar. So it's like, why would they want another Ollie Gordon, right? Another physical power back. Maybe they still feel like they can use B-Rob in some sort of role, but to me, wouldn't really make sense for the Dolphins to trade for him because they already have Ollie Gordon. However, with all those injuries they have at running back, I wouldn't be surprised if they made a serious offer to us for B-Rob. So, Dolphins are definitely one team to watch. More teams to watch are the Texans, Cowboys, and the Niners. The Cowboys have a lot of backs in their backfield. They have Javonte Williams, Jadon Blue, Deuce Vaughn, right? They have a lot of guys, but a lot of complimentary guys. And trading for B-Rob, I mean, that's another complimentary guy. However, if you have B-Rob and, a fast guy like Jadon Blue, that can make for a decent 1-2 punch, Thunder and Lightning. Now, trading him to a divisional rival, I mean, we traded Jahan to a divisional rival, and he didn't do anything with the Eagles. Maybe it's different with the Cowboys if we were to trade B-Rob to them, but I wouldn't be too mad or anything like that if we decided to trade B-Rob to the Cowboys. The Texans and Niners are also dealing with injuries in their backfield. I think the Texans are down Joe Mixon right now and Dameon Pierce, and the Niners, I think they're down some of their backup running backs as well. So those are two teams that could use a running back and could look to trade for one Brian Robinson Jr., right? So there are some teams out there interested in B-Rob. I expect this deal to get done in the next 24 to 48 hours, and if we can't trade him, we'll probably cut him next week when the trade deadline comes. So, or not the trade deadline, sorry, the roster deadline, the roster cut down day comes, right? So I think that's what's going to happen, but ultimately B-Rob will not be back on the Commanders for the 2025 season. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Comment down below your thoughts on the final day of Commanders 2025 training camp, and comment down below some teams you believe would be realistic landing spots for Brian Robinson Jr. And other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.